All right, I have Sunterra, Hotep, and Yahshron Amun. And the topic today is going to be conscious dating. You know, dating in the conscious community. How has your experience been so far? You know, as um, a single male, a single female, and a married man coming into the knowledge into a different paradigm. How has it been? You know, with dating with this new acquired knowledge that you have. So we're gonna start with the queen first. You know, Sunterra. How has it been? You're a single female. How has it been meeting a mate inside the conscious community? Can you tell us your experience?
Let's see. I haven't done too much dating in the conscious community. I'm not just like
scarce out there,
dating girl right now. But I like to talk a little bit about the history of just the male-female relationship as far as from African history or our Black American history here. And most of us know about during slavery we built strong relationships, but of course our households and families were torn apart. And then once slavery ended, we got back together. A lot of people don't know that there were way more married couples in the African and the Black community, like the slaves, after they had been released, versus a lot of the other people living here in this country. So we were doing that. We were having our families, having children, had a strong foundation. And, as a ploy from the government, the way to tear apart a culture is to destroy the family and the foundation of the family. So, if you know a little bit about history, you know that at one point in time, the government put the female to the side and say, hey, we can provide this, this, and that for you. And with them doing that, it kind of, they began right then, in that modern time with taking the male out of the household. And, giving the woman benefits and privileges from the government. And then came along that feminist movement where, the white females, pretty much recruited the Black females for numbers. There was not a sisterhood bond between the Black, women in this country and the white women. But, they start putting in their head, oh, you need to be independent and, the man this and the man that. And, the Black woman has never had any problems with her man. It's always been a respect level way back in ancient times. There was a balance. And so that began the demasculation of the man and pretty much making the female take on this role of masculinity. Because with the male gone, you're going to have to start taking on these roles of going outside of the home, leaving your children behind, working, and doing all these things that you need the man for. So, I think that the imbalance with the relationships comes from that. There's an imbalance. We have forgotten our culture and our roles and the relationships.
Okay, that was a great intro. I appreciate that. So, Yahshron, you want to feed off of what the sister just added to?
Definitely, man. There's nothing that I disagree with. I want to reinforce what she said about the attack on the Black family. A lot of people don't believe that there is such a thing or that it ever happened, and I challenge you to do the research to look into those things and see why the system of child support was created, to see why the women get X, Y, and Z benefits, to see why the feminist movement was started, was to separate and cause that the confusion and the animosity between the Black man and the Black woman.
A wedge. They put a wedge between the Black man and the Black woman.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the 80s or 70s. We can go to 60s too as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But along with the war on drugs, so they definitely all played a role. So that's nothing that I disagree with. And with my experiences coming into, I guess, quote unquote consciousness, I know it's a cliche term, just seeing how the women act in the new, I guess this consciousness is a new religion. So the mind is still not natural, although the hair may be natural, or the clothing may be more in reference to our ancestors.
More cultural.
Everything is more cultural, more ancestral, but the mind has not come out of there. Yeah, transform out of or evolve from the European mindset of how we should treat our queens and how as kings we should interact with one another. We have not gone back to ancient ways. I know everything ancient cannot be transferred into modern times because of how things evolve. So some situations or how we interact with each other may have to change simply because we're in a new age. But the core principles and the infrastructure, the foundation,
values, and morals never change.
Exactly, that should never change. I should first and foremost, whenever I see him, whether I like this dude or not, I should always see him as a brother first. And I should be looking to de-escalate a situation, or I should be looking to come with love first before the conflict, and then we can go from there. Right. But it should always be that's a brother first, this is a queen, this is a sister first, regardless of how I feel about them. And I think we lost that respect value. I think the elders didn't pass that on to us, so we have to get back to that. And it goes into a relationship. I don't think the male has a respect for the queens, for our women that we once revered, because you go back 30 years, you call a woman, you don't even gotta call her a B word, you just call her something that's a little, and somebody gonna check you. Real talk. If you ain't earshot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A brother gonna check you. What you say, young buck? Now is just so common, and it's gotten to the point. Amber Rose just led a campaign on women embracing calling themselves sluts. When I had to have this talk with my mother, y'all don't understand the emotion that I feel. I wish somebody would refer to my mom.
Right there.
In that way.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
You feel me?
I want to go to Hotep now, brother. Being that he's a married man, and these are attacks on your marriages when you have single women or women coming out trying to promote being a slut, and you have to protect your household as a married man and protect your queen against these type of rhetorics. How do you feel when these things come about and you looking at your wife hoping that she's not falling for these type of attacks?
I mean, it's very disturbing. I mean, when you have somebody having a campaign called the Walk of Shame, and you are not feeling no type of remorse, you're not feeling bad about the things you did the night before, you had just met somebody, you probably don't know their name, you sleeping with them. That's a problem because, our youth are looking at this and they looking at it like this is normal behavior, and that's going to help promote their broken home or not even much having the black family no more. Nobody's not looking at the way things was when we were growing up. The movies, the TV shows that we had, like The Cosby Show and A Different World. It was more family about being a tight family.
Right. We
don't have that now. So when we have these things that are being put out now, I have my wife and I have 2 daughters. There's seeing these images and, more and more you continue to show a person something. You may see it today and be like, oh man, that's crazy, that's wild. But the more they continue to show it to you, you start, feeling null about it, numb about it. So now you're creating a situation that this is starting to be normal behavior, and that's not acceptable. And like just piggybacking on what they were saying, the black family is so divided. When you have a system that are giving the female all kind of assistance, like we said, housing, Medicaid, food stamps, a welfare check, if she cannot provide for her child. Now the male can be in that same situation, because we already know that the field is not fair for the black man. It's real hard for us to get a job. So now we have a situation. It's hard for us to get a job. So now it's hard for me to provide for my child like I would like to. But I'm not going to get those same assistance that the female get. I'm going to get child support that's going to get me in the rear, and I go to prison. So we have to understand all these different mechanisms that have been put in place. To help divide the black family. You can get all these assistance, but you can't have the man in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So it's like, what I need you for.
Right.
So it's going right back to that slave type of mentality. That you are getting everything that you need from your oppressor, and you're not looking at the man that, of your race. So it's so many things, but it's going to take coming into a knowledge of self.
Right.
And my wife and I, that's how we got to the point where we are today. you know, 4 years of studying and 3 years of no arguments. You know, because we're starting to see the world with an African mindset and not a European mindset.
Congratulations, that's powerful, man. That's a beautiful thing that your household has peace, and I just want to commend you for being the head of that household, and not only commend you, commend your wife for supporting you and having your side. That's a queen that needs to be celebrated. So I want to celebrate your family, brother, and say congratulations and give you much love on providing an example for your children, not only your children, other people's children, people who come in contact with you. You may not realize that you are affecting them in a positive way, but you really are. And I want to send some love to you for that.
I appreciate it, bro.
So, so we know that Hotep is single, so we have Sunterra and Yahshron Amun. You guys are both single, correct?
Yeah,
I'm married.
He's married.
He's married.
Trying to get in trouble.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I meant to say
It's all good, baby.
I'm going to say Hotep is married, and Yahshron Amun and Sunterra, you guys are both single. So we have 2 single people and 1 married man on the panel here. You guys are striving to get what Hotep has already had.
Correct.
Have you found that to be a struggle so far to meet the perfect mate? Are you seeing people, Sunterra, are you meeting guys who are conscious for sex?
Speak on it. Be honest.
And Yahshron Amun, are you meeting females who are conscious for attention? Because your natural hairs now is a nice. It's a nice.
What? I have to speak on it. I was just doing some research, and it's a brother. I'll talk about him or mention him later. But you know, they talk about the male and the female and how America, you know, because America is different from the rest of the world as far as just how they're being ran. You know, the government. Don't get me wrong, it's chaos everywhere. But here in America, it's just a whole different mind frame. And even if you set races aside, as far as white, black, Asian, American females and American men have a certain mindset versus some of the other cultures out there, you know, that live outside of America. And what those are is that right now, like in modern society, American women are pretty much turning into American men, into men. And you have a lot of these women, because I have younger nieces and nephews, you know, growing up into this, and they're over 21, some of them, you know, I got older brothers. So, you know, and I see their lifestyle and what they're doing, you know, they're living life, but it's different from like when I was in college and call myself living life or having fun. Their fun is a whole other thing. It's like, it's not just going to a party and maybe drinking a little. No, they're going way overboard. And what I mean by that is everything is over-sexualized. And we know this about America. Everything you see in the media, the newspapers, the magazines, the talk shows, the radio, the music, everything is over-sexualized to the point where the women are now over-sexualized. And the women now want the same thing that the guys want as far as when it comes to sex. They just want to have sex and keep it moving, you know, and it's sex and money. That's what it's all about in America for the American woman. And, you know, back in the 70s and the 80s, you know, the women, they were more interested in actually just making love. You're like, you couldn't just come at her on some, you know, whatever. Like, she really wanted something real. And nowadays, they really don't care about that. They just want to get what they're going to get and keep it moving.
Is the rhetoric that's being pushed to our queens, our sisters, is it basically what you said, they just want sex and money? So would that be considered the new age prostitution?
A prostitute, at least she keep it real with you. Like, I mean, you know.
This is 2016. You know,
you gotta pay for that.
It's really prostitution without saying it though. Because these women today, you meet them in the club, they want drinks, you know, which is cool. I can respect that. You know, you take them home and then you texting them to try to see if you can get up with them, whatever. And they like, well, I got this bill that I need to be paid, but if you come over, pay this bill, I might do whatever you need me to do for the next hour. It's really just prostitution without calling it prostitution.
I wouldn't. I hear what you're saying, how it can be looked at that, but you got the big picture. It's about demasculating and emasculating the roles. Okay. It's turning the roles. You know what I'm saying? The woman is doing. You know, she's becoming more masculine in the sense that she ain't even scared to say that. Or I mean, like her pride and her her, she's willing to just ruin her temple for this tool called money, this piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, this is why we
for me, it's totally reversal.
Right. We needed to have, the balance, the negative and the positive energy, because we didn't have this in the last couple of days. Just like she just put me right back in check. I threw a shot out there, she threw it right back at me. I appreciate that. That's what we're talking about.
Because I don't believe that those women who are doing that they unconsciously they're doing that. If their mothers or their grandmothers will look at them like they crazy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize their power, and I'm not just saying because of the physical, the sex side of it, but just as the woman being the person who brings life into this world, you don't have to do all that to have a man take care of you, which is part of his role, and vice versa for her to take care of him, but in different ways. So
do you find it difficult to meet men who are providers?
No, okay, to a certain extent I do, because we have this modern day society look on it, where the guy wants things 50-50 now, and I have to look at them crazy, like, well, what do you mean by that exactly? And personally, I come from a traditional home where the male, my mother, she did work, but it was her choice, and once her children were big kids, when we can go to school and take care of ourselves to a certain extent, little children should be at home with their mothers. That's just my personal opinion. I believe that the father or the male head should, go do what he has to do to take care of the family, which provide and protect. Okay. And of course, a real woman, a real queen will take care of her man and support him, so he won't have any problems with doing that. And
how do you feel about that, Yahshron?
I don't necessarily disagree. Okay. I understand what she's saying from that particular instance. I believe now that going back to what I said earlier, as far as not all traditional customs may be effective in today's society, I think that's a discussion that you need to have with your king or your queen before y'all get into that situation. If you as a king, because like you said earlier, it's an attack on black men and getting jobs. Yeah. So if you are a king that has the ability to provide for your queen where she doesn't have to work, I need to have that discussion and say, okay, I'm going to work and provide, and you're going to manage the household. You know what I'm saying? That's still balance. It's not you're over her because you're bringing in the money. Right. It's being a person who, a king that is in power knows how to assert power. So he knows how to give roles to create balance
and delegate power.
Yeah, king, that's the word I'm looking for. Delegate. He knows how to delegate the powers. So the queen might have the powers over that household, and he might have the powers over the finance to balance and say, okay, you're gonna take care of the home, whatever you say in the household. You need me to help you wash dishes. If you need me to help you.
So for you, that's what you mean when she says 50-50. That's what your 50-50 comes in.
Because I'm bringing in the bread. You have to submit to me whatever I say. That's not balance. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You just said something. Did I catch that? What did you say about the 100?
I said 100 and 100. I don't believe.
I like that.
On each side,
right?
And we're bringing that together.
And that might be the problem in our relationship. We always looking for people to do 50-50.
Yeah.
But
half.
Nobody's doing 100%.
Right.
So if you guys are both doing 100%, it shouldn't be no problem.
Exactly.
Right.
And now you got a situation now where in modern times you got to look at it realistically. A man might not make enough. Like I use myself as an example. I might not make enough to take care of a queen and everything that she needs. So now we both got to come to the table. I got to have a conversation with her like, look, queen, this is my financial situation.
Right.
If we're going to do this, we're going to take this serious. We have to take a serious approach to it and have an economic mind. This is what I'm able to do. What are you able to do? And we have to find common ground so we can both. We're trying to build empires.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So to close out the video, does anybody want to make a last, little 1 minute just close out statement in reference to this topic?
Go to part two.
Part two. I would say this. And when as relationships are concerned, I like what Sunterra said. You have to give 100 and 100. A lot of times when what happens during relationships is someone slacks. We shouldn't automatically condemn our partners for them slacking, because you have to pick up their slack. There's going to be hills and valleys. So if your partner is slacking, if you're picking up that slack, that you shouldn't condemn that partner for that, because everybody has problems, everybody has issues. As long as you guys are working as a team and y'all can get the primary goal, the bigger picture done, that's all that matters. So stop looking at your partner like, well, he didn't pay the bill last week. I had to do this. Well, so what? You guys are a team, and you guys are working for the same common goal. So as long as you guys are working as a team, you guys should be fine. So with that being said, we're closing out this video. Appreciate you rocking with us. Peace.
Peace.